or actually it's less than half a liter. It's simply more than 25 mL of fluid. So you don't need to have that much in there. And of course, it can get to a large amount, causing that big protruding abdomen that we see in people with cirrhosis classically. Well, there's many causes of ascites. So to diagnose the actual etiology, we are going to do paracentesis of the ascites fluid. And I'm going to tell you that in the lab, the serum ascites albumin gradient is, we going to say 0.8 grams per liter. And let me tell you that this is actually a low gradient. Less than 1.1 to give you some idea of normal value. So I would like, thanks to this, the most likely cause of ascites in this patient. And I'm going to give you 5 choices. So think of a serum ascites albumin gradient, SAG as we call it. One cause is going to be the patient has cirrhosis. Another one is going to be heart failure. Another one is going to be a Budd-Chiari syndrome. You know Budd-Chiari, a hepatic vein thrombosis. I'm going to give you an idiopathic portal fibrosis instead of hepatic vein. And I'm also going to give you a patient with miliary tuberculosis. There we go. And now you try with those 5 choices. Or we can leave the poll the way it is. That's fine. So, serum ascites albumin gradient, SAG. So is this a patient with cirrhosis, heart failure, Budd-Chiari, idiopathic portal fibrosis, or miliary TB? Where do you normally find albumin? In the serum or in ascites? Let's see, I already have 13 answers. We can get more. 15. You're doing good tonight, or this morning for you. 16. Can't give me more. Let's pop 20. Give you a headache after. I think that will cause you valve jaundice. Oh, we're at 19. We're nearly at 20. So I'm gonna have, and maybe we can get a few more of us hop in. Sometimes it helps. Oh, that's what I wanted to answer to, or I'm not too sure anymore. So look, here we go with a bunch of us in that poll, and many of us went to cirrhosis. Now, I was asking you while you were thinking, which was bad of me, but I was asking you, where do you normally find albumin? Is it in capillaries, in the blood, or is it in the acidic fluid? Albumin. Because it's going to be key to your understanding of what that serum ascites albumin gradient is all about. Yeah? It's in the blood, it's in the capillaries, Kulasekaran, I totally agree with you. If I draw a blood vessel, I expect my albumin to be several grams per liter. It's my major protein in the bloodstream. And you know that for fluid to leave capillary, it could leave capillary as a transudate, or it could leave capillary as an exudate. It's all gonna depend on the integrity of the wall of the capillary. So let's see. Normally, if I now look at my ascites fluid, it should have low albumin. So that there's always going to be a gradient between serum albumin and ascites albumin. When you have a transudate, what leaves the vessel? Is it rich in cell and protein or not? Transudate. It's not, absolutely. And in transudation, therefore, what you could simply have is water leaving because of an increased hydrostatic pressure. An increased hydrostatic pressure would get water out, and then water would now dilute further the ascites albumin, so lowering it, while water leaving albumin behind increases its blood concentration. Is everyone okay with what would happen to albumin concentration inside the vessel and outside the vessel if it was a transudate? Water leaves, blood albumin gets more concentrated. As the water leaves in the extracellular space, then obviously the albumin in ascites gets diluted. In which case, guys, what should that do to the gradient? Should it be smaller, low, or should it be higher? Think. It should be higher, absolutely. So that would increase the serum ascites albumin gradient. It would get greater, literally, than 1.1. And here, I told you it's a low gradient. So if it's a low gradient, it cannot be due to increased hydrostatic pressure. It's not a transudate. Oh, no, 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 no. Because now it means my favorite choice with cirrhosis is out. This is not ascites from cirrhosis, because that would be portal hypertension, increases hydrostatic pressure in the capillaries. It cannot be heart failure, because that would increase hydrostatic pressure in the capillary, particularly right-sided heart failure. You remember the famous nutmeg liver with eventually cardiac cirrhosis? It cannot be Budd-Chiari syndrome because hepatic vein thrombus would increase hydrostatic pressure. It cannot be idiopathic portal fibrosis because that would increase hydrostatic pressure too. It had to be miliary TB because in miliary TB I'm going to have an exudate. Why? Well, when you have inflammation, you increase capillary permeability. And if you increase capillary permeability, then you realize you have fluid plus albumin plus protein, fluid plus albumin, whoops, leave and go in ascites. So of course, in that setting, it decreases the gradient. You understand how inflammation decreases the gradient? Because now you have less albumin in the vessel and more albumin in ascites. So it's one aspect of the lab, which is to look at SAG. And it's always a great spot to work for your USMLE preparation because it reminds you Starling law for microcirculation and the difference between transudation and exudation, which, by the way, between you and I, you would remind me that the specific gravity of transudate is what? Because it's primarily water and no protein. Do you remember the specific gravity of a transudate for general path? Number one, will it be low? Will it be high? Specific gravity of transudates. It's going to be low, and a cutoff value that's often used is 1.02 or 1.015 that we use in our labs. For exudation, the specific gravity, because of the richness in proteins, is much higher. So it's greater than 1.015. So look, when you look at ascites,